Glengarry Glen Ross of Surrey, BC. Okay, I added the Glengarry part. You could win groceries for a year if a kickoff's returned for a touchdown in this game, thanks to Safeway Sobeys' $1 million touchdown to win promotion, because if it should happen a second time in this game, well, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Glen Ross. Let's go to Rod Black and Dwayne Ford in Ottawa.
Thank you, Rod. Hello, Canada. Welcome to Canada's capital on a sweet summer night. 2-2-2s tussle at TD Place, the BC Lions and the Ottawa Redblacks.
And for the Ottawa Redblacks, he was quiet last week. We want to see more of him tonight. If you're a Redblacks fan, William Powell, one of the top running backs in the Canadian Football League, needs to be a big part of what they do offensively this evening, and looking to shut him down, as well as fill the shoes of his mentor, Solomon Elimimian. Jordan Herdman, the second-year Canadian out of Simon Fraser, makes his first career Canadian Football League start.
Wally Bono knows he's going to miss Solomon Elimimian for the next 6 weeks with a wrist injury. Wally's team coming back from 17 down, largest comeback in 10 years for the Lions. Big win to go to 2-2 last week. Rick Campbell's team needs to right the ship right now. Campbell's team would be undefeated if they didn't play the Calgary Stampeders. 2 losses to the Stamps, including last week a humbling loss here at home. Richie Leone is ready to kick this off. The former BC Lion. Could be a big night of kickers here as well tonight. 2 of the best punters in the game. Leone puts it off the tee, launches it, and away we go. And it's Brandon Rutley in his first game dressed as a BC Lion, because Jeremiah Johnson is also out, and that is a significant absence for Travis Lulay and the BC Lions.
Well, fortunate to have a guy like Brandon Rutley to plug into that backfield. Of course, the story for BC offensively right now revolves around their quarterback. Travis Lulay led the team to a second half comeback a week ago against Winnipeg. The point we'll make coming into this game, Travis Lulay, second only to Bo Levi Mitchell among active CFL quarterbacks in terms of winning percentage. He has a record of 500 or better against every other Canadian Football League team.
The 34-year-old, product of Montana State, former outstanding player in the CFL. Quick drop, and he's going deep right away, and he's looking, and it's a 50-50, and guess who wins it? Manny is money. Manny Arsenault with the first catch on a deep shot from Travis Lulay.
As Hank said in the studio before the game, no show last week, but the Manny show off to a good start here. The Lions have had trouble hitting the deep ball. Lulay and Jonathan Jennings had the lowest completion percentage on passes above 20 yards this season. Targets above 20 yards. We knew this was something they'd need to start hitting. Great way to start the ball game for the Leos.
Lulay, who had not played in almost a year, back at the helm, operating the ship. Hit screen to Shaq Johnson, who has 2 touchdowns already. The Brampton native, who has been a revelation in that offense for the BC Lions.
And we'll take a look at the BC Lions offense. We've mentioned a few of those names already as they're off to a quick start. Keep an eye on Brian Burnham. Made a huge play last week to set up that game winner on the offensive line. Hunter Stewart is out. Chris Greaves gets the start at left guard.
Second down and 3 for the Lions. And this time, ball batted away, incomplete. It looks like the kick team's going to come out, and the Lions will go for the field goal. They'll bring out 25-year-old Ty Long, who is 8 of 10 on the season, to put BC on the board here first.
Well, Mike Clausen, who had a terrific game, I thought, last week in that Ottawa loss, off to a good start here for the Redblacks, leading that defensive line in tackles from his D-tackle position.
Long from near the 42-yard line, call it 41 and a half. Kick is up, and it is wide. And Deontay Spencer's thinking about bringing it out, and here he goes. Spencer down the sideline. Foot race. Sometimes that can be a risky decision. Risk is rewarded this time for Deontay Spencer. No points for the Lions. Trevor Harris, a week of redemption for he and the Ottawa Redblacks on Friday Night Football. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Beautiful summer night. A little on the hot side here. Sun beaming down at TD Place Stadium.
Yeah, just a little.
This is a night you really got to work on that Old Spice.
Yeah, not the night to serve tandoori chicken in the press box. Just a hint.
Trevor Harris. First play passing. Goes over the top and has Greg Ellingson. You heard the guys in the pregame show talk about Ellingson, and really not just Ellingson, Harris and the whole Ottawa offense last week against Calgary completely dominated.
Yeah, and one of the guys certainly they'd like to get going in that group, Deontay Spencer, over 900 yards receiving last year. He's had a couple of drops in the early going, so he's looking to battle through. Several changes on the offensive line tonight, including Nolan McMillan playing his first game of the season, a more experienced group than we saw last week.
Already close to doubling their production on first downs from last week. They only had one first down in the first half against the Stamps a week ago.
We'll take a look now at the BC Lions defense. Julian Laurent, the rookie first-round pick for the Lions, makes a start at D tackle for Junior Luke. We mentioned Jordan Herdman. Holds pretty well every tackling record in the book at Simon Fraser University. And keep an eye on one-time Red Black former Argo Anthony Orange on the corner.
Harris pulls the trigger. Brad Sinopoli. A good start to the season, his 26th catch on the year, and they're not moving the sticks. Yes, they are moving the sticks. Very close to a first down, a favorable spot. So already doubling the amount of first downs they had a week ago against the Stamps.
Yeah, terrible start for Ottawa in that ball game. Really, their only flash was a drive at the start of the second half where they came out, they went tempo, no huddle, marched down the field. Trevor Harris got the ball out of his hands. A bit of the edict here tonight. Use that no huddle and keep the D off balance.
Here comes the rush. Out of the backfield, William Powell in stride. Rumbles close to a first down, and Trevor Harris didn't go the distance last week. Dominic Davis had to come in relief because he was very ineffective. One of his worst starts as a CFLer.
Yeah, really struggled in the two games this season against Calgary. They were looking to last week's game to be a little bit of redemption after they had struggled mightily against the Stampeders a couple of weeks earlier.
Pulls it back on the read option, and the option works. Sinopoli again on a slant, moves the chains, and already Trevor Harris talked yesterday about going more up-tempo, getting to that line of scrimmage, playing fast, and they're doing that so far.
Getting in a rhythm, and one of the things we know about a Mark Washington defense, they're going to mix up and disguise coverages. If you can go tempo, you're going to force the defense to simplify what they do a little bit.
Powell in the backfield with Harris. Sees open up there for William Powell, but swallowed up by Laurent. And also Jordan Herdman, replacing his mentor, Solomon Elimimian. Not just a mentor, but I would assume the second biggest hero in his life besides his dad, James Reed, who was a former CFL All-Star.
Yeah, James Reed, former star linebacker with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, predominantly also spent some time in Montreal.
Jordan and his brother Justin, twins. Justin we'll see tomorrow with the Argos. Harris, now he goes to a deep out, and Spencer hangs on and brings it down, and it's a first down. And Deontay Spencer lately has had some issues hauling that ball in, not this time. Good concentration, great grab by number 85.
Yeah, you're going to see Deontay Spencer working out of the slot this time, not from the wide out position. Gets that outside release right away, so he's got the advantage of leverage. Great adjustment to the football. That'll be a great one for his confidence as he looks to get back on track.
Anthony Thompson, the tackle, to the red zone. Go the Red Blacks looking end zone. Harris now calls his own number. But by default, he was looking to that corner, but nobody was home and had to take it himself and sneak for a couple yards. And Herdman in on the tackle again, replacing Solomon Elimimian. He was out for 6 weeks with a wrist injury.
Yeah, and we know obviously Solomon Elimimian has mentored him through his first couple years in the league as a BC Lion. Elimimian also spent some time coaching Jordan Herdman while he was at Simon Fraser. He's Solly helped out his older brother Abe, former D coordinator for the Clan.
2nd and 7. Harris stepping up and going down, but he was able to release the football at the last moment. Gabe Napton got to him. William Powell is short of that first down. So now a decision. Does Rick Campbell go for the field goal here? It's 3rd and goal from the 4, and you can hear the boo birds because the kick team's coming out. They wanted Harris and company to go for it.
Yeah, from in close, looking for big points. I know they ran into a similar decision last week, as I mentioned, that drive to start the second half against Calgary. They settled for 3 because they felt they needed to get some points on the board to maintain momentum.
Just a little chip shot right down Main Street. 11-yarder for number 10, Lewis Ward. Good drive. Results in 3. Travis Lulay back in the pocket, back with the Lions, looking good. And he keep doing what he did last week. Friday Night Football. 309 days since his last start. Coming off that knee injury, Travis Lulay, some magic in the second half last week. Throwing an interception earlier, but got the win. His 20th 300-yard game in his career, and he was named CFL Player of the Week. And what a scene in the locker room.
Trav, you deserve do you think this is a guy around whom his teammates rally?
We've seen it before. And Travis Lulay, who has given way to Jonathan Jennings for performance issues in the past, but mostly by injury. And now JJ is back to being the second in command. Let's see how long this goes as Chris Rainey cuts outside, and now it's a foot race, and Rainey cutting up near the 45-yard line. So Jonathan Jennings was the guy to start the season, but Travis Lulay now healthy again. And Wally Buono said the decision was rather easy.
I think because we have Travis, it makes it a lot easier for everybody to accept. But I think it was obvious that a change had to be made. You know, Jonathan, wasn't as consistent as you wanted, wasn't as efficient as you wanted, and so it was something that had to be done.
Brandon Rutley, his first carry as a BC Lion. He was acquired in the offseason, and Travis Lulay, 34-year-old, a guy who has been there and done that and won that.
Yeah, certainly former most outstanding player in the Canadian Football League in 2011. Led his team to a Grey Cup that year. He's been a mentor to Jonathan Jennings.
A great mentor,
primarily, yeah, over the last few years. But, as we said off the top, let's not forget, Travis Lulay has been a very successful quarterback in this league, and the BC Lions needed a lift.
Lulay rolling out now, and there's trouble. Ball's on the carpet, but it was an incomplete pass. See that Travis Lulay still not quite as mobile as he once was. Braced up. He's had so many injuries, from his shoulder injuries in the past, and of course the knee injuries, and the most devastating one that kept him off the shelf for a year.
And keep an eye on AC Leonard here, rushing from off the line. Lions did a good job in terms of locating and identifying that roving defensive end, but used a bit of a waggle of his own on that pass rush to get upfield.
Here are the 2 top punters in the CFL in this game tonight. Penalty flags down, and Spencer weaving and zigging and zagging, likely against the Red Blacks. So Trevor Harris with a 3-0 lead brings the ball back on the field. Red Blacks offense next. CFL on TSN continues tomorrow. First game of a doubleheader. Blue Bombers battle the Argonauts. Action underway at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on TSN 3, 4, and 5. And in 4K. Bringing you back to TD Place Stadium here in the nation's capital. 3-0 Red Blacks early on. 6 to go first quarter. Long field penalty on that return against the Red Blacks. Harris changed the play at the line of scrimmage, and into the scrum goes William Powell.
Well, Trevor Harris has the Ottawa Red Blacks off to that 2-2 start. We know both losses coming against the Calgary Stampeders, and you see statistically for him, obviously night and day between those two outcomes. Always a guy who's been very productive, and that has shown through in the wins.
Deep shot sideline, and some tangling of the feet, and it's going to result in an interference call.
Yeah, this has got to be inadvertent.
Anthony
Their
Orange
feet just got tangled. Both guys just looking to play the football, tripped over each other's feet.
Greg Ellingson and Anthony Orange, who ran right into Ellingson.
Yeah, again, not looking to trip the receiver, but you'll see their feet just catch here as Orange looks to get deep, get on top of the receiver.
Referee tonight is Kim Murphy. He's talking it over with side judges, back judges. And are they going to say this is offense? Was Ellingson, they're saying, that might have done the tripping here.
Well, Ellingson was the player behind.
Offensive pass interference. Ottawa, number 82. That penalty is declined. It'll be third down.
I mean, my contention is whichever player you're gonna charge with this is unintentional. They're both looking at the ball and looking to make a play on the ball, and their feet they clip one another.
In so many ways, it might have been a no call there. And look at disdain from Ellingson. And there is a flag down again.
Well, Odell Willis, as he scrambled off the field, he went through the Ottawa bench. He didn't get to the BC Lions bench before coming to the sidelines. That's what the Ottawa coaching staff was yelling about.
Objectional conduct. BC, number 11. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down, Ottawa.
So after all of that, maybe there is some karma for the Ottawa Red Blacks, because Rick Campbell says, what are you doing on my sideline? Wally Buono giving it to Odell.
Yeah, Odell's going to have a seat while the defense returns to the field.
In Odell's case, he's probably pleading, I had to go somewhere. I had to get off the field.
If you notice, he stopped to do a little socializing on his way through. It appeared that he said something to Ottawa D-line coach Leroy Blue on his way through there.
Last time I saw something like that happen with Ottawa was Duron Carter. And a crossing pattern, turning it back upfield. Brad Sinopoly's been a busy cat so far here tonight, 24 yards. And suddenly, after all of this, more momentum for the Red Blacks.
And you get the Trevor Harris view watch. Sinopoly working towards that sideline as he understands levels in terms of that defensive coverage. He's in behind the linebackers, but in front of the DBs, allowing Harris to just drop it over top of the LBs to his slot back.
First and 10 from the 44-yard line. Ottawa on the move. Oh, bad snap, ball on the turf. Trevor Harris did well to pounce on that. That ball just went sideways. Harris wasn't looking. Alex Mateus is the center.
You saw the slot. Noel Thomas coming in motion, trying to time that up, and just a little bit off. But clearly he created something of a distraction for Trevor Harris as that shotgun snap came back.
So now second down and 22 to go. Harris standing in over the top, and there's the first down. 22 and more. And again, it's Brad Sinopoly. Our outstanding Canadian in the CFL, outstanding Canadian in the Grey Cup game, and outstanding so far here tonight, almost a 30-yarder.
Brad Sinopoli, the outside man here, does a great job of finding the opening. You got to bear in mind, BC on this play, they only rushed 3 guys in that long yardage situation. They had 9 guys dropping deep, which makes for very small windows, but Sinopoli manages to find one.
Looking to rush 4. No Odell out there right now. And Ellingson on the near sideline. So Odell is on the sideline, stewing. And that penalty so costly right now for the BC Lions.
Yeah, you see it's moved Ottawa from an obvious punt situation and great field position to start for BC is what it would have been with the Red Blacks punting out of their own end.
2nd and 1.
Matter of a couple of big plays, you've got Ottawa suddenly within field goal range.
Lions among the most penalized teams in the Canadian Football League, ranking in the bottom 3rd. Wally not happy, the winningest coach in CFL history, and his final go around, he says. Harris keeping.
And to get behind big Sir Vincent Rogers, the veteran left tackle. Safe place to go. We mentioned the changes on that Ottawa offensive line as they had been a young group to start the season. Mark Cordy, the rookie, started the first few games, as did Evan Johnson, the second-year man. John Gott also not starting last week, but Gott now in at left guard. Nolan McMillan, 5th-year man, makes the start at right guard. And Jason Lauzon-Séguin, who had been the starter the last couple seasons at right tackle, is back in his familiar post as well. So after having some trouble at the line of scrimmage against Calgary, they are a more veteran group this year.
Dominic Davis comes in 3rd and inches. As you saw, they did not get that first down, so they've been perfect on 3rd down snaps this season. It remained perfect, and so Harris comes back on the field, and he is operating at high efficiency tonight and already better than last week.
Yeah, 6 for 6 on Ottawa's opening possession, 9 for 10 overall throwing the football in this ball game is Trevor Harris.
There's the number supplied by our ace statistician, John Perlberg. 93 pass yards a week ago. The entire outing for Harris, and already tonight 125. Set up a passing down here likely. Powell bursts right side, gets about half that first down yardage, and 2-time CFL All-Star legend Odell Willis. It's about as quiet as you will ever see Odell Willis.
Yeah, kind of lesson being learned for Odell right now. You got to understand the situation and pick your spots a little bit. And he picked the wrong one to get involved at the Ottawa bench.
Harris, good protection. Ellingson going up and can't bring it down, and a good defensive play. Gary Peters converging there and knocking that away on impact. And again, the best the Red Blacks will be able to do here is a field goal attempt.
Yeah, watch the ground that the halfback, Gary Peters, covers. And coming over to help out his corner, Winston Rose, on this play.
So the Kingston, Ontario native who played his university football right in this city, the Ottawa GGs, in his first year with the Red Blacks. Already 1 for 1 tonight, 9 of 10 on the season. There is a flag on the play. Is there, usually that's an alignment issue when you...
Procedure, Ottawa, number 58. It's a 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
So now this went from potential 42-yarder to what looks like around a 47-yarder. This would be the longest for Lewis Ward. The tiniest players in the league. They're going to spot it near the 46. Would be his longest in his first year in the CFL, but plenty of leg for the little guy. Red Blacks go up 6-zip. Penalty-aided drive. Stopped here by Gary Peters. The Lions give up 3 on Friday Night Football. Well, the legend of Travis Lulay continues. The reports of his demise greatly exaggerated. A lot of people thought he might have been done a couple of seasons ago with injuries. Not so much, not so fast. Here's Matthew Shinetti.
You know, Rod, it might not have happened. I'm talking about the comeback last week, because Just a few months after Lulay had that reconstructive knee surgery on his right knee around Halloween, he woke up one day, had a massive infection in his right knee. He had to get what's called a flush scope because there was some infected liquid in his knee. Now, the issue being that when he was going a few months later, as he was doing some media here during the Grey Cup, he was actually in the hospital day after day after day getting IV treatment, getting medication treatment. He dropped 15 pounds. So it makes the working all the way back all the more impressive. And after he had his 12th straight, or his 12th career fourth quarter comeback, 300 days after he had his 11th, he had so many texts from players across the league. You're thinking Mike Riley, Matt Nichols, Bo Levi Mitchell, Zach Caleros. And the one thing, though, that Lulay said, and joking, I'm a glutton for punishment, he did say, I love the appreciation because I know how much I mean to the other quarterbacks, guys.
Yeah, that knee heavily braced up.
That is a tight fraternity, the world of CFL quarterbacks. Those guys stick together.
Again, how many times did Travis Lulay go down and everybody fearing the absolute worst? You know, he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He's also one of the toughest. There is no doubt about that. Shaq Johnson gets ripped down. Anthony Chiaffi comes in at linebacker. The Red Blacks releasing Josh Johnson this week, and Chiaffi, the former Rutgers star, now gets inserted into that starting lineup.
Yeah, rookie playing that nickel linebacker position. We'll see how he fares in space here this evening.
Looks like we'll have one more play in this first quarter that has seen the Red Blacks with a couple of good long drives. BC team that has been starving for road victories. 1-7 their last 8 road games. No road victories so far this year. And the Red Blacks haven't been very good at home. Last play, first quarter, Ricky Collins Jr. 12-yard pickup. So the teams will change sides tonight. The sun's setting here. TD Place Stadium. Friday night lights are on. Start to see some offensive highlights as well. Red Blacks lead 6-0 after one quarter. Oh, one quarter complete here. 6-0 to score. Significant here. The Ottawa Red Blacks have 134 yards in offense. That's the number they had all of last week against the Calgary Stampeders. So significant improvement back here.
That is actually also equal to the number of pounds that I have sweated off through the first quarter of tonight's game.
Box. It is hot.
I may as well be wearing a garbage bag. Seriously, I feel like a wrestler trying to make weight hours before the tournament.
I'm not saying you're wet. Michael Phelps might have been drier than you were right now. But let's talk about what Trevor Harris has done in the Ottawa Red Blacks. But it's still anybody's ball game right now. Yeah,
it certainly is. Obviously early in this football game. But for Ottawa, you got exactly the start you were looking for. Disappointing against Calgary. They struggled to find any kind of traction in that football game. There was, outside of one drive, there was literally no offensive rhythm for them, and I think they've had it really every time they've been on the field here tonight.
Lulay, quick hitter, far side to Collins. If there is a downside, though, to the Ottawa Red Blacks, and that might be a lament that they have had this season going into last year for Rick Campbell, is the inability to finish when you get down to that red zone. And, you know, trading field goals for touchdowns could come back and bite you.
Yeah, something you're always very aware of. And, you know, I think something the Ottawa fans were aware of is they were calling for the offense to stay on the field from 3rd and goal inside the 5-yard line on that first possession.
2nd and 2. The tight end set. They'll hand it off to Rutley. Grappled to the turf, and it's going to set up a 3rd down play. And you wonder if Wally Buono wants to take a look at this on the spot. Can't see them not going for it. It looks like it's 3rd and a long 1 yard. BC team that on 3rd down plays, though, this year, 4 of 7 have missed 3 times. So out comes Lulay. That braced up knee. In comes a guy who's used to this stuff, Cody Fajardo. Grey Cup champion with the Argos last year, did a lot of running.
Yeah, Cody's got great mobility and gives you some options as a short yardage quarterback. Guy who's capable of giving you more than just the sneak.
So the gamble for the guy from University of Nevada stood up, and from here, looks like they may have been given that surge and they quiet the crowd, but initially Fajardo's the guy who likes to sneak that football, but might have been too long for that. So his handoff will result in a first down.
Yeah, and if you're going to hand it off, I like the way they did this. Let the running back Rutley time it up. So he's there immediately as Fajardo takes the snap, has a little bit of momentum going into that line of scrimmage.
Brandon Rutley, who has been the ultimate reliever in Montreal, relieving Terrell Sutton the last 4 years, and now finds a home in BC, and this is what he does. He is one of those north-south guys, and he finds a gap. He explodes through it.
And as you alluded to during his time in Montreal, running back who has proven to be kind of the ultimate insurance policy, a guy who may not play every week, may not dress for every game, but you know when you call on him, he's going to be ready to go and he's going to deliver. Brandon Rutley demonstrating it right there.
Career 5-yard per carry rusher. Again, had not dressed for the BC Lions, acquired in a trade in the offseason. 1st and 10. Lule delivers again to Arsenault, his second catch to that first deep shot. Close to a first down for Emmanuel Arsenault.
Always thoughtful, Manny, helping out the official with the spot.
Who is the most familiar out of any of this receiving core with Travis Lule. They go back to their first training camp together almost over a decade ago.
Well, this is the thing that Travis Lule talked about in terms of his time out of the lineup, is that he is so familiar with so many of these guys that it's easier to slip back in.
Lule calls his number on 2nd and inches. Make that Fajardo coming in. Lule comes back on the field. You know, we've watched Travis Lule through the years. Dwayne, you remember here, a place that he also suffered one of those injuries. The resilience of this guy, maybe when they write the Travis Lule story, that might be what they talk about most.
Yeah, this is part of what endears him to his teammates, is his commitment to the game. Keep fighting to get back there.
Here's the blitz. Lule wobbles one to that right side. Shaq Johnson, an out pattern. Here's where Travis Lule also excels. Jarius Jackson, a former quarterback in the league, now the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. Travis Lule is money in the red zone, inside that 20-yard line.
Yeah, well, you look at critical situations, and again, Henry Burris talked about this in the pregame earlier about Travis Lule finding ways to win. A veteran quarterback who knows how to get it done. Those key things in the red zone, getting it done. 2nd down conversions, getting it done.
So even though the Red Blacks have dominated, Lule is a throwaway and putting his team right back in it. Rutley cutting back and dragged down, but it looks like it's a first down, and see what the spot is. Very close. If it's not a first down, it will be 3rd and short. Lions likely going to stay out here.
Yeah, nice teamwork between Rutley and his blockers, recognizing the flow of the defense. He sort of takes his time, a little jab step outside to get the defenders flowing to try and maintain their contained leverage, their outside leverage, making the blocks a little bit easier for his pulling offensive linemen in that situation.
They'll measure. They're going to be short here. Wally's already brought out another unit here for this play. Already saw that they were going to be short, so it's about a half yard. BC Lion team that so desperately needed that win last week, and starting the season 1-2 against Winnipeg. Bombers look poised for victory and stolen away. Largest comeback win for the Lions in a decade. Fajardo back in for another 3rd down play from near the 8.5-yard line. Crowd pumps up the volume. Fajardo, right side, bulls his way and continues bulling his way right into the umpire.
Massive push from the right side of that offensive line. David Foucault, Javon Olafioye over on that side, Corey Watson One of the best blocking receivers in the game over there to help out as well as they get that first down easily.
So red zone time again for Lule inside this 20-yard line. He has performed magic for so many years. 5 receivers sending him out. Goes deep in the end zone and caught for the touchdown. Ricky Collins first as a BC Lion. Almost took out his security guard, but Collins and the Lions will dance. They march into the end zone. What an impressive drive. And security guard could take a hit.
Well, great touch for Travis Lule here, dropping it over top of the D. Concentration from Ricky Collins. Former Saskatchewan Rough Rider and Hamilton Tiger Cat has his first in orange.
"13 plays, 79 yards, a point away from taking the lead." Ty Long, who's been perfect this year, and Ricky Collins has #1 as a Lion. Only hit he took on this play from that security guard. Touchdown Lions. They move in front.
There's Ricky Collins, first year as a BC Lion. Been around this league for a couple of years. Gets his first touchdown with his new club.
Chaz Purifoy. This date on the calendar circled. Former Lion. Clambers up near the 35-yard line. Ricky Collins has given the Lions the lead here tonight. Lots of football left, though. Steamy one.
Well, there's Ricky Collins, the man of the moment, just scored the touchdown. You're going to see Anthony Chaffee, who's at the nickel linebacker spot, is up at the line of scrimmage, which leaves Ricky Collins, the #3 receiver, is the responsibility of the free safety, Antoine Pruneau. He's coming from the middle of the field, which gives Collins that outside leverage on him already. Makes the corner route perfect because he's already got an advantage. Working outside on a man on whom he already has that leverage. Makes the catch, delivers a shot. Security guard never took his eye off those dangerous people in front of him.
Not saying much, pal, I will tell you. Marcel Desjardins and Hervey might be going down there. Take a look. Might want to sign that guy. Take a shot like that from behind.
And right back to his post.
Yeah.
Again, not afraid to turn his back on the play.
No. Good job. National television, and he doesn't go down.
Yeah.
Big guy. Guy in front of him. He's happy. He's texting somebody. A security guard just saved my life. 2nd down and 6. Harris trying to get a drive going now. A little crosser, and again it's Sinopoli. Already having a gigantic night here. Steps out of bounds up near the midfield stripe.
Well, Brad Sinopoli just 2 weeks removed from a career-high 11-catch performance against Montreal. Finds himself in the right place at the right time as Trevor Harris steps up looking for an outlet. And there is number 88 to move the sticks.
5 catches, 40, 93 yards already. Just into the 2nd quarter. Play action down the rail. Oh, that could have been disastrous. Heavy, high-flying collision between a pair of Lions. It was R.J. Harris down the rail.
Yeah, but you look at the top of the screen right from the get-go. Credit to Anthony Thompson, the third-year safety. As he saw this one coming a mile away, he started cheating over that way. By the time the ball was snapped, he was already starting to head for that sideline. It appeared Trevor Harris maybe got locked in on that primary receiver, giving the safety a cue and a head start.
2nd down time. Harris in trouble. And and is going down. Guess who's off the sideline and back in the backfield?
Yeah, looking to get himself out of the doghouse. That's a good way to do it for number 11, Odell Willis.
14th player in CFL history with 90 sacks or more.
Great matchup between two veterans right there, Odell Willis and Sir Vincent Rogers. We had a talk with Sir Vincent yesterday about matching up with Odell. He said the tough thing is he does everything well in terms of pass rush. You got to be ready for all of it. There's that patented inside spin from Willis.
Odell was banished to the sideline, and Rainey lets this bounce down to the 5-yard line. It'll be a no yards call, but only a 5-yarder. Odell is back.
Best D-line coach in the league.
And Odell Willis with his 3rd sack of the season, 90th of his career.
It's going down. It's going down there. Y'all heard it.
And intercepted.
I take it. I take it. That's mine. I hit the ball out. How did I not get that? What you talking about? You couldn't even break our team. I hate you, bro. I hate it.
Yeah, that's the stuff you hear every week. Mic'd up players, behind-the-scenes action. CFL Wired. Latest in CFL highlights Tuesday, 9 Eastern, 5 Pacific. I think that 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on TSN 1 and 4. Wired up tonight here at TD Place Stadium. 7-6 ball game. BC has the ball back. Brandon Rutley, one of his best romps so far as a Lion. Rutley with Jovan Olafioye down. Olafioye, longtime member of this Lions line, award winner, all-star, went to Montreal last year and now is back in orange.
Keep an eye. Watch number 99, AC Leonard, in on the tackle and just falls across that left knee of Jovan Olafioye.
You saw that buckle. Olafioye, a 6-time All-Star, former most outstanding lineman in the league, and I would imagine so happy to be back. A guy like Travis Lulay loves to have Olafioye there. Lions will sub in here.
Yeah, we'll see exactly how BC lines up because they were looking to go to a different personnel package here. So both rookie offensive linemen, David Neville out of Nebraska, big number 69, and Peter Godber, number 51, 1st-round pick out of Rice. Both were coming onto the field already, so we'll look to see who ends up lining up at that right tackle position.
Well, never a good sign when your teammates are on that one knee. So Olafioye, here's a good sign though, hops up and will be assisted to the sideline. We'll try to get a report with Matthew Shinetti. One of the greatest linemen in this era, Jovan Olafioye.
Certainly a good sign, as you said, to see him able to put weight on that leg at least.
So again, a Lion team getting Joel Figueroa back. He was banged up this week, hurt last week. Figueroa in the lineup, so some juggling on that O-line for this Lions team. Patching it up here. Second down and 1. It's Fajardo again. Straight forward goes Fajardo. A guy who, before he came to the Canadian Football League, was maybe best known as a Nevada quarterback, but also on the reality show The Ride. He's had a pretty good ride himself. Travis Lulay staying out. Fajardo got a lot of reps in Toronto. Short yardage plays, but also when Ricky Ray was hurt.
Yeah, had an opportunity, especially a couple of years ago. He got some extended time at quarterback.
Lule on the sideline. Fajardo in the pocket. In the gun here. Here's the blitz, and there he goes. And Cody Fajardo, the slide into second base, which is a first down up near the 37-yard line. That slide to perfection brings Lule back out. Might have been a design play for you.
Yeah, no question that they're leaving Cody Fajardo in to run that football, a guy who's always done that very effectively. Of course, followed Colin Kaepernick at the University of Nevada. The scheme in which his athletic ability was a big part of their offensive system.
1st and 10. Delayed draw. Rutley barrels up to the 40. Did Rutley, in his time when he's had the ball in the CFL, remember the East Division semifinal against the BC Lions a few years ago? May have had his biggest day against the Lions when he was a Montreal Alouette.
Yeah, well, he and Chris Rainey, both members of the Montreal Alouettes at that time, now doing their best to fill the shoes of Jeremiah Johnson in the BC Lions backfield.
Some big cleats for the Lions to fill tonight. Jeremiah Johnson and Solomon Elimimian. So far, so good, though. Lule slipped. Almost like a spread eagle as he was going back, lost his footing, and the ball flies errantly away. Take a look. Whoosh.
Illegal contact on a receiver. Ottawa, number 5.
But he's getting a break.
10-yard penalty. First down, BC.
Kick team would have come out. Instead, it's a first down. Former Lion Luchez Purifoy pleads his case.
Purifoy had a little grab on Manny Arsenault as the Lions receiver went past him that time.
4 minutes to go before halftime. This first half has flown along. Both teams with pretty good possessions. Shaq Johnson really coming to his own, particularly this year, and has been a go-to guy for the BC Lions. The biggest guy in the world, big heart, great hands.
Tremendous speed. Shaq Johnson, a 4th-round pick, 32nd overall.
Lule with string of completions now, not this time. Held short of the first down is Johnson. Oh, it's going to be 3rd and 3 and too far for Fajardo to go to work, so well, we'll bring out the heavy foot of Ty Long. Goes Spencer. The Inferno. This is a good kick. Will it get to the corner? Oh, and Deontay Spencer grabbed it at the goal line. Might have been going through the end zone. That might have been a bad decision by Deontay Spencer.
That's one I'd have given up the single and played for field position, such a critical part of the Canadian game.
Ball will be placed just outside the 10. Long field. 3-minute warning here in Ottawa. Lions lead by 1.
Rod and the guys back in the studio. I see Dave Naylor still here as well. We're going to be talking football about Trevor Harris. We're going to be talking about Odell Willis. Also talking about tomorrow's game in Calgary. Bo Levi Mitchell set to make the start despite that injury last week in Ottawa. So we go back to Rod and Dwayne.
And that is good news. Thank you, Rod. Bo Levi Mitchell got hit last week. And Stamps undefeated to start the season. And really everybody else in and around 500. Unbelievable start in terms of parity. The first set of 6 games. 6 weeks in the Canadian Football League. William Powell. Well, as we mentioned earlier, it's so nice that our buddy, the legend, Jock Climbing, climbing down in the stands tonight. Just a night off. or maybe not.
Yeah, there he is. Taking the night off while everybody else is working.
And there he is live with his family, Jocko. And by the way, every once in a while, deserves a night off. You see Jock here. Here, of course, dangerous toss. A Lions with the whistle, and Wally Buono thought that that was completed, and if it was, it could have been taken to the house. Deontay Spencer, who's had some issues lately, able to grasp that football. That was a tough one.
Yeah, quickly
clearly
jarred
incomplete
on that one. Gary Peters coming in to break it up.
Jocko knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, doesn't like to see the drops.
You know, one of the great receivers in CFL history, and well, he's got his kids trained already. Look at that. Jock is getting more airtime right now than sometimes in halftime in this panel. You know, the only thing would be better is if Milt was here too, eating potato chips beside him.
Milt would never get caught eating potato chips.
3rd down and 5, so the Red Blacks will kick this away, and Travis Lulay should get some good field position. Leone, though, with a big foot. And Rainey brings it in. Good field position as he goes flying into the table.
Make your getaway with intelligent all-wheel drive in the 2018 Nissan Qashqai.
First 2 and out, induced by the Lions defense for the Red Blacks here, and so Travis Lulay into Ottawa territory, a chance to extend the lead before the half, and this is Travis Lulay time. 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, pressure situation. And you know, he's looking to redeem himself for a missed opportunity at the end of the first half against Winnipeg last week.
Hangs in, goes deep over the top, it's caught! What a throw. Ricky Collins having a spectacular night so far. A touchdown, and there's a penalty flag after, and there was some chirping going on. Objectionable conduct likely here. 40-yard bomb. One thing Travis Lulay has not lost is that accuracy. Look at this shot.
After the play, objectionable conduct. Ottawa, number 31, half the distance to the goal. First down, BC.
Great concentration. As you look at all the black jerseys converging on Ricky Collins, but fearless going up in traffic to get the rock and set the Lions up in scoring position. As you mentioned last week, you know, Travis Lulay talked about maybe the adrenaline being a little too high as he missed on some deep balls. He was only 2 of 10 on targets over 20 yards last week, but he's hit a couple of nice ones here tonight, making the most of a speedy and dangerous receiving play.
Again, place where he excels, has already thrown a touchdown tonight, and almost threw another. Looking for Collins, who has become a favorite target this evening in Ottawa. Incomplete.
Looking for that quick slant. He's got to get the ball out quickly, as he knows he's responsible essentially for the unblocked blitzing linebacker Kevin Brown coming off the weak side.
Two minutes to go before the half. Here comes that rush. Lulay backpedals, throws, and almost hauled in by Brian Burnham, who wants a call, is not getting it. Now will Wally keep his offense on the field or go for the points here on 3rd and goal?
I'll battle on the corner with former teammate Guchez Purifoy. You think any early contact? Maybe a bit of a grab. The left hand on the shoulder pad.
Look, and Wally.
Watch the left hand of Purifoy before the ball gets there.
This is classic Wally. Doesn't wear a headset.
Nobody's
around him. He looks up at the Jumbotron before he makes the call. Throws the yellow flag.
Yeah, hometown operators got to learn to be a little bit slower in that situation.
I'm watching Wally look up at the scoreboard.
BC is challenging the previous play for pass interference on their receiver number 16. We'll review the play.
They've got a good case here, it looks like, against a former Lion, Purifoy. Was such a shutdown player last year for the Leos. This is probably going to be interference, 40.
Yeah, I think it's the right call. If you watch the left hand, ball's in the air. Sure. Purifoy essentially overran him. He sees that Burnham is making the adjustment, jamming on the brakes for that back shoulder throw. He's trying to stop his own momentum as much as anything when he reaches on and grabs the receiver.
I think this will be a very quick decision.
After review, we have pass interference. Ottawa, number 5. The infraction took in goal. The ball will be placed on the 1-yard line. first down, BC.
Has not been a good night so far for Purifoy, particularly on this drive. A couple of costly penalties. Likely is going to result in a Lions score here. Down to the 1. Campbell's team had control early on. Cody Fajardo has 3 touchdowns already this season. Hands it off to Rutley on the trampoline and puts it in. Brandon Rutley's first touchdown as a BC Lion.
Rutley doing a nice job getting up and over. As that offensive line
Hey, Nick, that's for you, baby. I love you.
digs in and roots him out.
Jumping high, Brandon Rutley. Ken filling in for Jeremiah Johnson. Doing an admirable job tonight. Just doesn't dance quite as much as Jeremiah. Wally's loving it. Good challenge by Buono's 3 of 4 now this season on challenges. Much to the chagrin of Derek Taylor and maybe the studio guys. They will go for 1 point here, as they are apt to do. Long buries it. And right now the Lions open up an 8-point lead. Rutley's 10th career CFL touchdown. His first rushing touchdown since 2016 when he had 4 for the Alouettes.
6th-year CFLer Brandon Rutley started his career with the Hamilton Tiger Cats before spending those last few seasons in Montreal. See, he clearly breaks the plane there, getting up and over. And credit the offensive line for the job they did there. Javon Olafioye out of the lineup. David Neville, the rookie, Brantford, Ontario native, at the University of Nebraska, now in at right tackle. Did a nice job in pass protection. I thought on their first series when Olafioye got hurt, they did a terrific job with their play calling. You saw a couple of draws and then a couple of quick passes, which I think really helped slow down the pass rush a little bit with a rookie O-lineman coming into the game. But that drive penalty aided. 4 plays, 53 yards in just 17 seconds for the BC Lions.
Did give the Ottawa Red Blacks a chance here now to put some points, possibly tie. You know the Red Blacks, so if they get it to the house, will go for 2. Deep kick. Spencer from his end zone. 10 to the 15. Here he goes. There he goes. And finally hauled down by Bolacombo. Otherwise, he was gone. 44-yard return by Deontay Spencer.
Spencer starts it straight north-south, spots a little bit of a seam to the left as he breaks away from his wall. I know he was looking forward to that return game matchup with Chris Rainey tonight in terms of, between the punters and the returners in this ball game, some guys who can really swing the field in terms of that field position battle.
Special team players might see it play out in the second half as we tick it down. And Von Coleman getting into it. There's a penalty flag now with Nolan McMillan. Headbutting going on there, some jawing. Von Coleman. See who will get this. Looks like they're talking to the Red Blacks.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Ottawa, number 66. 15-yard penalty. It'll be second down.
One. Millen drawing back into the lineup, such a key part, but let's take a look.
Yeah, keep an eye on 66 right behind the goalpost. Takes a little bit of a shot from behind it, Coleman. That's why Coleman goes back with the shove. The shove didn't get called. McMillan called for one that essentially falls in the category of a tourist hit away from the ball. Defensive player with his back turned at the end of the play.
A lot of penalties in this one so far. Pretty much negates that return by Spencer. Powell barely gets up to the line of scrimmage, and so now the BC Lions are going to get the ball back with a chance with Travis Lulay in control of putting more points.
Benefiting, Rod, from how quickly they scored on the last drive, that You know, you felt like they were giving Ottawa a lot of time at the end of the half to march, but essentially they gave themselves time to get one more possession in here.
BC.
Well, we talked about the special team players, including this guy, Chris Rainey. Leone, former Lion, will boot it to him. A timeout at BC as they're going to try to set this return up. This game has really tilted, hasn't it? In the last 4 or 5 minutes, the Ottawa Redblacks seem to have control, certainly for the first quarter, but lack of offensive momentum. Travis Lulay, Ricky Collins, and penalties have done in the Ottawa Redblacks. So now it's Leone. Angle it likely away from Rainey, but he's going to go right down the pipe here. Rainey. Wrestled to the turf near the 30. Lulay back to work again, and so many people in the Canadian Football League happy to see Travis Lulay back. No one is happier to be back, though, than Travis.
Really, since I've had a few injuries over the last couple of years, of football for me, I've really not taken a minute of it for granted, because I've seen firsthand how quickly an opportunity can be taken away, right? When I've had an opportunity to get on the field, I think I've been that much more thankful, and you know, I think that's helped give me a mindset to go out and play free and confident, because I'm enjoying the moment.
Well, this is Travis Lulay's moment when he was winning that Outstanding Player Award. He relished these moments doing this. What a toss to Arsenault. They're saying it's incomplete. At least the Redblacks are, and so is the official, as Manny tried to sell that. It'll be second down.
You see Arsenault working out of the slot here. Number 3 receiver, a little cluster release with Brian Burnham as they look to create some confusion in terms of coverage. And there you see the trap of the ball.
Tried the knee squeeze, didn't work, so a big down here. Ottawa could get it back again. Redblacks need to stop. Lulay chucking again over the top, and it is dropped. No whistle, it's a fumble. Corey Watson will say it's complete, and a fumble, our first turnover of the night. Watson went up to get it. That was his first reception of the night. And they are ruling that as a fumble. Corey Tyndall.
Watson goes in the air to get it.
Chiaffi stripped the ball, and Tyndall picked it up. What a play by Chiaffi here. Watch this.
Yeah, Chiaffi dropping deep in coverage that time from his nickel linebacker position.
Since it
does
is
a good job. You see him go in with both hands to intentionally rip out that ball.
Since it is a turnover, it will be reviewed.
The previous play is reviewed by the command center.
I mean, when you see it at real speed, full speed, you kind of see how quickly the play happens, how quickly the ball is out of there, that the Lions may have a little bit of an argument, but I think they got this call right as Watson. Well,
sure he had it. Lions now hoping above hope that this is ruled an incomplete pass.
Yeah, I mean, your best evaluation of this play, honestly, is going to be at full speed. Because when you look at it in slow motion, you're going, okay, well, he jumps and he catches it, and he kind of takes a couple of steps backwards on his landing. At full speed, I don't think it's as clear cut.
After review, the ruling on the field is overturned. It's an incomplete pass.
So incomplete.
It'll be third down.
So the Redblacks will get the ball back, and I suppose in some way this, if they could get a return from Spencer, they could get it close to that spot.
Other than the time that'll come off the clock, probably a little bit of a wash ultimately for the Ottawa Redblacks here.
But that time could prove very important as we tick it down before halftime. Smith and the boys in the studio standing by. remember, you got this guy. And there's a penalty flag, and it's against the Red Blacks.
They flipped the kicker.
And Deontay Spencer is going to have a good return negated. Ty Long with another thunderous kick. And as he launched that football, he was clipped.
Roughing the kicker, Ottawa, number 46. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down, BC.
Yeah, watch the contact from Beaulieu is going to come before Long gets that leg back down. Now, somebody's been watching the World Cup.
Let's see.
Because I'm not sure he ever even touched him.
He did not, it looks like. Maybe at the end. And will Rick Campbell counter here and throw a challenge flag? He's got it in his hand.
Yeah, Ty Long doing his best Neymar impression right there.
Rick Campbell.
Rick was committed to that throw.
Well, it might have been the best toss of a challenge flag we've had in quite some time. And Ty Long probably going up to Jeff Reinbold saying, I may have embellished that just a little bit.
Yes.
Ottawa is challenging the previous call on the field for roughing the kicker. We'll review the play.
Beaulieu, former Alouette.
Yeah, and now you hear the fans chanting and giving the officials a hard time. But again, when you got to officiate it at full speed with a whole bunch of moving parts, it's not as easy.
I don't think he touched him.
No, I don't think he did either.
And Long just may have slipped and tried to sell it.
I don't think he slipped either.
And he pulled his best Neymar.
Yes, sir. And a yellow card.
The CFL sanctioned by FIFA. So there is a very good chance that they will have this
After
rebooted.
review, the ruling on the field is overturned. There's no roughing the kicker. It'll be first down, Ottawa.
So first down, the good return by Spencer. Ty Long. So you can win the best actor of the night, but then you have that award taken away at the last minute.
I think that only happens with Best Picture.
La La Land, yes. So now, what an interesting turn of events both ways.
Well, best performance in the throwing of a challenge flag.
Yes, for
Rick
sure.
Campbell.
Welcome to the CFL Academy Awards. Now Harris goes over the top. Harris to Harris. Rick Campbell.
Rick Campbell has made his name coaching on the defensive side of the ball, but looks like he could do a little work with the quarterbacks.
Almost a spiral.
That follow through.
Yeah, almost a spiral. So we had a yellow flag, we had a yellow card. Acting here and there. 2nd and 1 and still time. But 49 seconds. You know, a couple of plays into field goal range, but I think the Ottawa Red Blacks momentum changing hands here to the BC Lions in this second quarter. I'd like to get one to the end zone. So it's 3rd and 1. And I don't think, we'll have to see. You could see the crowd's very nervous. Nobody's saying anything. Red Blacks are pointing one way, and let's see if the surge is good enough. Very nervous Red Black Nation here tonight. But they are going to get the first down.
A good initial surge, but
two plays that ate up a lot of clock. But they would have rather been throwing. Here comes the blitz off the edge. Harris in trouble. Throws it to the far side for R.J. Harris, and Harris down inside the 40. Clock ticks inside 30 seconds. Red Blacks will get to that line of scrimmage.
Well, Harris had just one catch in his first start last week against Calgary.
2 tonight. That was a key one. Pump now. Harris is chased, and Trevor Harris trying to get out of bounds. 17 to go, so really, you might have 2 shots. If you don't get it, you're going to have to bring out Lewis Ward.
A good heads-up play by the veteran quarterback Harris to get to that sideline, get the clock stopped, get everybody organized offensively here.
Second down and 3, 17 to go before halftime. Trying to get it to the house. Harris over the top, and Greg Ellingson. Now it's third down, and you really have no other choice here. You got to get your points. They'll bring out Lewis Ward.
Ward already with the career-high 47-yarder earlier in this ball game.
Very indifferent night for the Red Blacks offense. You can sense it from the crowd here. They've had some good drives. They've had some good plays, but they've had no finish.
Yeah, well, and I think the frustration, quite honestly, is a carryover from last week's game. When you talk about the crowd reaction, you know, it was a crowd that had grown very impatient with the Red Blacks' offensive struggles by the end of that Calgary game 8 days ago.
Ward from 39, and he will pour it through. 5-point ball game. 2 teams that have played 8 times in CFL history since the Red Blacks came back in, and every season one team has swept the other. 2-2-2-2. Last year the Red Blacks swept. So this east-west collision tonight. I have a feeling that this could come down to the wire the way it's been playing out, though.
Yeah, well, the scores haven't necessarily demonstrated it in terms of the Canadian Football League.
Jock, you got to get back to the panel. 9 seconds. Jock's getting a lot of texts. Well, you're on TV. Hide your beer.
You know, he's hearing from the bosses because he called in sick.
And a selfie. Way to go. There you go.
Hey, Milt, can I get a picture with you? That's what that guy said, I guarantee it. And the reason I know it is because it's happened to me about 100 times.
I've been with you. And I like the way you react. Milt, you look a little quiet. You're always, well, I'm usually in the end zone. Red Blacks can't get to the end zone tonight. It's a 14-9 ball game, but a good one tonight on Friday Night Football as we send it to the Jockless studio. Here's Ron.
5-point lead, BC at the half. How about the other numbers, Milt?
Well, it's been a tale of 2 quarters. You look at Trevor Harris. He started off strong in that first quarter and then kind of slouched out in the second quarter. Opposite for what Lule was able to do. Other thing, 8 quarters since these Red Blacks have scored a touchdown. They got to get it going in the second half.
Okay, here's BC's Odell Willis now with Matthew Giannetti.
Odell, I don't think I know anybody in this league who has more pride in playing than you do. How tough was it to sit on the bench but then come back and have the reaction you did by getting that sack?
I mean, I just had to show what my true character is. I mean, your true character don't show when everything's good. Your true character show when adversity hit. How do you respond? And, you know, it rubbed me the wrong way for the first little bit. But as a leader and as a man, you know, I wanted to show my teammates that I have character. You know what I'm saying? My character is very high and it's very strong, so I just wanted to come back and make a play.
How does your character and your leadership help your team in the second half, and what looks like it's going to be a tough game?
Just staying consistent. Consistency is the key. I mean, you can't do it one play, one quarter. You got to do it for a whole game and game after game, and constant, you know, like I said, night in, night out.
Thanks, Odell.
Thank you.
More serious side of Odell Willis after that penalty that he took. Usually lightening things up. The Ottawa Red Blacks had a good start. BC coming back. They lead at 14-9. Second half kickoff on TSN. Coming up.
It's Friday Night Football. Yeah!
Back under the Friday night lights with the sun setting for Ottawa. The Red Blacks, who had a 6-0 lead, dominated by the BC Lions. 14-9 as we head to the third quarter in this battle of Travis versus Trevor. Here's Trevor Harris with Matthew Shinetti.
Trevor, we saw you guys moving the ball efficiently to start that half. What you have to do to make sure you're doing that into the second half?
Just win first down and make sure that we do our job on second down, keep moving the chains. We just got to make sure that we finish drives. We're getting moving the ball quite a bit, doing a good job, and keeping them off balance. We've just got to finish.
What are they doing inside the 20-yard line to keep you guys out of the end zone?
They're mixing up their coverages. They're doing different stuff, and they're getting some pressure. But we've got to do things to combat that, and I think we've got a good plan for the second half.
Nice try.
Dwayne talked about first downs as we see the BC Lions return to the field here. The Ottawa Red Blacks, and look at this. Here's Trevon Olafioye, who's limping to that BC sideline. No helmet in sight. Not sure what his status is. We'll try to get a report from Matthew. But the Red Blacks averaging 6.9 yards per first down. The BC Lions, completely different story.
Yeah, I was going to say 6.9 yards on first down is nothing to sneeze at as an average. But when the other team's averaging 10 yards a pop on first down, it's tough to keep up. The Lions have been outstanding, obviously, moving the football, dominating in that first down count, and showing on the scoreboard primarily with their ability not just to move the ball but to finish as well.
Red Blacks right now just having troubles finding the house, the end zone. Heard the boys in the studio. No touchdowns in 8 quarters, 28 drives. Purifoy trying to get something started here at the 27-yard line. Just 120 minutes of game time, but they have not found the touchdown. Noel Thomas touchdown late in the first half against the Montreal Alouettes, the last time they scored. So that has to be concerning to Jamie Elizondo, the offensive coordinator for the Ottawa Red Blacks and this Red Black team. Just an inability to finish off drives. It's haunted them, and keep in mind they have played against powerhouse Stampeders twice over the last 3 weeks. Trevor Harris said, win first down. William Powell. Very subpar week for him last week after gains of 94, 123, and 136 to start the season. Just 17 yards on 8 carries last week, and like to get him going too.
Yeah, no doubt about that, as you saw the youngster Jordan Herdman in on the tackle on that one. Middle linebacker making his first start in place of an injured Solomon Elimimian. But there's no question, Rod, that William Powell, his production, his involvement is a key. They've used him more in the passing game. 3 catches in the first half. He had only 5 prior to tonight on the season.
Harris in trouble. Down he goes, got the ball away, incomplete. The Ottawa Red Blacks have gone 0 for their last 6 second down conversions.
Keep an eye on Odell Willis here at the bottom of your screen. You heard him at halftime talk about his motivation. They try to slow him down using the running back to get a bit of a chip on him and it create a little extra traffic, make it harder for him to get there. But when the running back chips outside in, doesn't necessarily help the tackle. It bumped him to an inside gap and gave him a shorter route to the quarterback.
Battle of the punters here. Penalty flag down, Rainey falls down at the 40. Couple of flags down. It's interesting, the turning point in this game, you might have thought was Odell Willis when he went to the sideline and was penalized, but it might have been a turning point
on the return. Elio Block, BC, number 45, 10-yard penalty, first down
for the Lions, because since that time Odell has woken up big time here.
Yeah, he has. Willis comes in with just a couple of sacks on the season thus far, leading the BC Lions. He has certainly been noticeable this evening, first for the wrong reasons, but ever since, as we've discussed, for all the right reasons. You see Trevon Olafioye staying loose on that bike while his offensive teammates are on the field.
Travis Lulay way back near his 5-yard line. We're waiting for the play clock. It has not started.
Time count violation. BC, number 14. 5-yard penalty.
Went down right to
Remains
0.
first down.
Travis Lulay looking to that sideline. Wasn't sure what was going to go on. They take the penalty here.
Change in down and distance as it goes from 1st and 10 to 1st and 15 is going to change the personnel package, but they were a man short. Because when they switched that personnel package, only one player, Rolly Lambala, came out. 2 receivers, Collins and Johnson, went in. So Lulay took the time count because they were a man short.
BC, just 1 penalty in the first half, take 2 in a row to start this second half. 1st and 15. Firing. Collins going backwards. They'll give him that surge up near the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 2nd and 9. And slow to get up is Chris Graves. They do not need another O-lineman, and he is going
Chris
down.
Graves taking a knee. Keep an eye here on the veteran left guard. Just got tangled up with the Red Blacks twisting defensive lineman there. So you've got Javon Olafioye already out, which brings a rookie, David Neville, in at right tackle.
And here comes
now
another
Chris Graves,
rookie.
Yeah, Chris Graves goes down, and the rookie Peter Godber will come in at guard to replace him. So in a week where we've seen the Red Blacks go to a more veteran group on that offensive line, the BC Lions forced to go in the opposite direction.
They also have Joel Figueroa, who has been banged up since last week. Graves will go to the sideline. The rookie comes in, patched up O-line.
Well, there you see offensive line guru, one of the best coaches of the position in the business, Dan D'Orazio, veteran CFL coach, has been up here for 20 years after many years coaching the NCAA level. He's got 2 of his newest charges in the game. We'll see what he's been able to teach them through their first couple months as pros.
Couple of 20-somethings on the O-line. See how Lulay handles this. Lulay going deep end. Was looking for Collins again. That was underthrown. And Lulay looked like he slipped once more, having some issues with that turf right now.
Let's see if it's that. Yeah, that front foot again.
Might be a cleat
as he goes to plant and release.
This field turf here. It's
and
twice.
You wonder a little bit too, coming off a knee injury, if Travis Lulay has elected to go with maybe a shorter cleat that's not going to grab quite as much. I'm not sure.
Look out! That looked like it was partially blocked. Ty Long looking for a flag, not getting this one. No yards on the play. At 5 to that, but that was dangerously close to being blocked. Ty Long has suddenly become a central figure.
Well, I think Ty Long could get hit in the chest at this point, but as the boy who cried wolf at this moment, he's
you are not getting a call.
Yeah, he's not getting the benefit of the doubt here.
And so close. Danny Mason.
Yeah, just narrowly missing that one.
So good field position for the Red Blacks. And it's been a long time. Couple of games since they've been able to score a touchdown offensively. Use Powell here. You wonder too, you go by the numbers and how they trend out for you. You know, this BC Lion team came into this game dead last in the CFL against the run, giving up 152 a game. Now again, it's skewed. It's early in the season. You give up, but that's still a significant number.
Yeah, well, it sure is. And, you know, this is part of the reason we expected to see more William Powell, looking at you know, the weekly numbers from Derek Taylor. The Lions with more missed tackles than anybody in the league, giving up a ton of yards after contact. William Powell, great at making people miss.
And thrown in perfectly, and Greg Ellingson can't hang on. On that far sideline on 2nd down, and again, a drive ends here. Field goal unit coming out. This was almost a perfect toss by Trevor Harris.
Yeah, looking to get Greg Ellingson in isolation. Ellingson.
Anthony Orange, nice job.
You know, sometimes you like to take those shots to Ellingson, who is Again, courtesy of DT. I'm not going to take credit for the numbers myself. Consistently among the league leaders in drawing pass interference calls. So sometimes worthwhile just to take that one-on-one shot with him and hope something good happens.
Lewis Ward kind of flutters through. Takes an interesting route, but it goes through. Red Blacks pull closer. Still no touchdowns, though. And master Travis Lulay. Issues with the field turf tonight, but not with his receivers. A couple of touchdowns here. Welcome back to TD Place Stadium tonight. Real pleasant night now. Temperature is cooled. That crescent moon. And a 3-point ball game. Chris Rainey slips up himself and then is hauled down. Brandon Rutley in his first game has been impressive so far, including his first touchdown as a BC Lion.
Rutley certainly taking advantage of those fresh legs, demonstrating nice burst every time he's had the ball in his hands. And I love this touchdown plunge going airborne over top of the big boys for the major. You see the numbers averaging 5 yards a pop, contributing to that BC Lions average of 10 yards on first down.
3-point ball game, been a clean game so far. There's Rutley crashing right side, close to a first down. No turnovers yet. Late in the first half, thought we had one and was overturned. So, all.
Watch this first cut.
Wow.
Great lateral move. Just leaves the defensive lineman grasping at air.
BC Lions, 1st and 10. Travis Lulay start using Arsenault. Has not used Brian Burnham yet tonight. It's even a target for Burnham. So it looks like it's a passing down now. Will we see a little more of this guy? Their 1,000-yard receivers, Manny Arsenault and Brian Burnham, into their 5th game, still have yet to record a touchdown. These guys are touchdown machines.
You have the sense that it's just a matter of time. Those are the guys in that receiving corps with whom Travis Lulay is most familiar. So you know they're going to have an opportunity to get going. You know, Burnham had a couple of big catches en route to the comeback last week.
2 of them combined for 13 last year. Lulay going deep. There's Burnham, and a big shot just like that. And you know you were not going to be silenced for long on a night with Brian Burnham in the lineup. 42-yard pickup inside the 30-yard line.
Yeah, as I said, just a matter of time. Brian Burnham with all that field with which to work. The wide man on the wide side gives it the double move. That's a long way for the safety to go to come and help over top.
Lulay looking for Arsenault. Touchdown! The Manny Show makes its first appearance in the end zone in 2018.
I will repeat, just a matter of time.
That.
Burnham and Arsenault each chewing up a huge chunk of yardage en route to the touchdown. Let's have a look at the protection here. And that Lions offensive line giving that route time to develop. Arsenault fighting off the safety, Antoine Pruneau, for that catch.
So now with 20-12 lead, Ollie Buono doesn't go for 2 very often. Just once this season was 0 for 1. Usually opts for that point after. Will go for 2 here to make it a 2-possession ball game. And Yes. 10-point game. Travis Lulay, Manny Arsenault starting to put on a show in Ottawa tonight. 22-12 Lions. Took 5 games. Alexandria, Louisiana native. Manny Arsenault's first of the new season. 55th of a great career.
And the Manny show appears to be back. You see Noel Thorpe on the Ottawa sideline, their defensive coordinator huddling with the secondary, looking for some answers.
Manny Arsenault 4th overall in all-time receiving touchdowns. 2 away from Mervyn Fernandez. Swervin Mervyn. Speaking of Swervin, Deontay Spencer. We were talking about it. Might have been a harbinger, but you knew, as you said, just a matter of time that Travis Lulay was going to start finding Arsenault and Burnham, and back-to-back he goes.
Well, and remember back to the Ricky Collins touchdown. Anthony Chaffee, the nickel linebacker, is up on the line, that jet position. He's coming. It puts the free safety in man coverage on the number 3 receiver, which we saw Antoine Pruneau's got to chase inside out. It's a different formation in terms of which receivers make up that trips or 3 receiver grouping, but it's the same result. You're running a corner route on the number 3 defender for the touchdown.
Well, Trevor Harris, shades of last week right now, had a flame starter start to the night. 9 of 10. Pulls it back and chucks and caught by Brad Sinopoli, who he went to early on. Since that time, just 5 of 11, and needs to rekindle that fire.
Well, I like the play call here, going play action. In each of their first downs that they've had in the second half of this ball game, they've run the ball to William Powell on first down, maybe becoming, I don't want to say predictable, but setting a little bit of a pattern. You now get the BC Lions thinking it's going to Powell. You run that play action, and it results in a big play on the pass.
First down of the second half for the Red Blacks. His back foot, Sinopoli, over 100 yards tonight. He's brought down short of a first down. So again, when the Red Blacks go fast to that line of scrimmage, they seem to have more success.
Yeah, I think that's their comfort zone as an offensive group, is when they are in that no huddle mode. That's been the majority of their system over the last 2 or 3 years. Whether it's been under Jamie Elizondo or prior to that, Jason Moss.
Harris comfortably in the pocket. Nice catch by Spencer on the sideline. Little tiptoe job will move the sticks.
Just a believer that when you can have success doing this, it's dictating the tone. Playing the game the way you want to play it, as opposed to kind of letting the defense do their thing and you having to respond and take what they give you. Take what you want.
First and 10 from the Lion 47-yard line. Comes that rush again. Harris scrambling in that pocket, knocked away again by Anthony Orange. Orange has been impressive since coming into the league. No wonder, great pedigree, played in the National Football League with Arizona, Minnesota, Fresno State.
Keep an eye on Anthony Orange, for those who aren't aware, the former A.J. Jefferson. Former Toronto Argonaut, spent some time briefly with Ottawa.
Is he better as A.J. or is he better as Anthony? Sinopoli on the sideline. Wilfred Foster knocks him out of bounds.
Watch out with the Foster, bottom of your screen. He's free on the blitz, delivering the shot. That's a heck of a football play by Trevor Harris, standing in there to take the hit. He knows he's got the unlocked man.
Read option again. He and Sinopoli have something going here. Slant pattern. moving the chains once more.
We mentioned earlier Brad Sinopoli, a career high 11 catches against Montreal 2 weeks ago. He's got 9 here tonight.
It's been a long time since they've been in the end zone. Swallowed. Here's Spencer. Harry Peters there. Just 2 yards, and this is where it's become troublesome for the Ottawa Redblacks. Second down in the red zone. Inability to get that first down and bringing out their kicker.
And the Lions are going to have to make a shuffle in that secondary. Gary Peters going down. Another former Eskimo, Marcel Young, comes into the game. You see defensive coordinator Mark Washington, another one of those guys whose name is frequently mentioned as a candidate for head coaching jobs in this league. Outstanding former defensive back in this league with Montreal and then BC.
Peters goes to the sidelines. The Lions team will get a rest next week. They need it. It looks like they've been bashed up. Bye week. Next up is Calgary. A couple of weeks. Ottawa go to Hamilton next week. Marcel Young comes in. Young was starting early in the season. Big play here. Defensively for the Lions and offensively for the Redblacks, who have been stymied over the last 2 games. In the red zone. Lule throwing. Finally, touchdown, Ottawa. Who else but Brad Sinopoli tonight? It's been his night.
It certainly has, and with that catch, Brad Sinopoli will have a career single game high in terms of yardage. Previous high was 156. That's going to give him 10 catches, 162 yards as he continues his fine season. Looking to make sure Andrew Harris doesn't walk away with the most outstanding Canadian award this year.
The Redblacks will opt for one to make it a 3-point game again. And finally, it took a long time. Almost 9 quarters. Finally, Trevor Harris takes the football to the house. Thanks to Brad Sinopoli having a career night again. Earlier this season, Brad Sinopoli had an 11-catch night. That was a career high. He's likely going to usurp that tonight. He's already at 10. But he had in that drive what some players have in the entire season so far.
Well, you saw the graphic there, touchdown drive in that transition. That should just say Sinopoli drive. 5 catches, 69 yards, and of course the touchdown. It would have been criminal for them to throw the ball to anybody else for the touchdown after the efforts of number 88 and working their way down the field.
Not done yet. Ellingson and Sinopoli have become super slots in the league, of course. Perennial 1,000-yard guys. Lots of football left, though. We're 5 minutes in the third quarter. Booted down to Ricky Collins returning this time. And Lions will start on the 30-yard line. Why is Ricky Collins returning? Let's find out with Matthew Shinetti.
Absolutely, guys. A lot of walking wounded here on the BC Lions sidelines. Chris Rainey, in that last series when he came off, he had been limping, I saw, for a few times after his returns. He came off, and they were looking around the high ankle of his left foot. He took his boot off. They tried to tape it up. He tried to run a couple times, told the medical staff he couldn't. Thus, he's not on the field. As for Javon Olafioye, he is still standing in his pads on the sidelines, but with no helmet, guys.
Likely not to see him tonight, but Well, the emphasis really on Rutley as well. As far as the running game is concerned, they haven't run Rainey tonight, but likely going to see more of 21. And Brandon Rutley, it's so hard to become the guy. It's been the Mariano Rivera, the guy out of the bullpen, mostly for the Alouettes and now the Lions, but tonight gets a chance to start.
Yeah, it's one of those positions. You've got to have a couple of guys capable of stepping in and doing the job.
Lulay hands to Rutley. Looks like that progress had to get to the 40. Did. How about that drought that the Ottawa Redblacks just broke?
Yeah, that touchdown pass to Sinopoli, Ottawa's first TD in 31 drives. Over 2 full games, 129 minutes, 36 seconds of actual playing time, game time between Redblacks touchdowns.
Knocking King Kong off their back. Get a sense from the crowd as well. They were waiting to explode. There's a team that regularly found the end zone. There is injury, a cramp.
Kevin Brown, weak side linebacker, was the man who was down. Avery Williams draws into the game. Williams started a couple games ago during Kai Hebert's suspension.
What a chess match this has been tonight. Marquee matchup of good quarterbacks too. Rutley stepping up with opportunity knocking for him tonight.
Yeah, Rutley's done a nice job running the ball, and credit a Lions offensive line that's been banged up a little bit. We see Chris Graves back in the game at left guard. Again, Javon Olafioye out. Big rookie David Neville, 6'9", is in at right tackle.
12 carries, 67 for Rutley. And now down the rail, and no flags thrown. Like a good battle down the sideline. Collins again with former Lion Purifoy.
Yeah, and Collins is trying to fight his way around Purifoy here. Purifoy eventually, essentially holding his position. Little bump there. Let him get away with that one.
Back comes Ty Long. It has been an adventurous night. Lions are missing a player here.
Well, they ran 2 players on late.
Spencer back. Long. High into the Ottawa sky. And to you, Dwayne Ford, I bequeath this Discovery promo.
Well, Rod Black, be careful what you fish for. Shark Week's 30th anniversary features exclusive footage of unexplored locations, new discoveries, and plenty of bite. Each night, Shark Week begins Sunday at 8 Eastern, only on Discovery.
And did you know the episode is Sharks on the Move? Have you seen the Rob Gronkowski video?
That is actually the next in the Sharknado series.
Gronkowski, the Gronk when swimming with sharks. You got to see it.
I'll look for it.
ESPN feature, outstanding. First and 10, 2 to go in the third. Lulay wants to load it up. There was maybe the only blemish of the night for Brad Sinopoli. What? You didn't catch that?
Yeah, he can have that play off after the last drive. Just off the hands. Rare to see number 88 let one get away.
First target he did not catch tonight. 10 of 11. Again, his career high 11 set earlier this season. Already has a career high in yardage. 2nd and 10. Quick one. Trying to get to the first down marker, but he will not, is Spencer. And now the defense is tightened up here. And once again, in on another play is A.J. Jefferson, a.k.a. Anthony Orange.
Yes, very fitting name.
Yes.
Change for him as he joins
We keep doing this all day.
the BC Lions.
Let's go, Herb. Get in his stuff now.
It's just a name change. One-time Orange name in his family. Only appropriate he should play for BC in great field position. Again, no Chris Rainey. So Gary Peters returns. An instant field position for the BC Lions. That's what this game becomes now as we wind down the 3rd quarter. Talked about the battle of the punters as well and how important this is.
A couple of boomers, Rich Leone and Ty Long.
Travis now. Rutley in the backfield. Takes the rock and bullets again. Looks for another first down.
The Lions are doing a nice job wearing down that Ottawa defensive front. Brandon Rutley in the offensive line, chewing up those yards in the ground game.
Reverse was supposed to be true tonight. It was supposed to be the Red Blacks coming in. That would be trying to run over Lions D. Rutley has been ultra effective. Final play, 3rd quarter, barring penalty. And they'll run Rutley off the edge. And rolling over there is a flag here, so see if they will end this quarter or not. Came back near the 32-yard line. Be contact against the Red Blacks. Jonathan Rose, perhaps guilty party. Let's see,
yeah, you're going to see block. Rose. He steps up. Watch pulling number 61, Joel Figueroa. Jonathan Rose doesn't like his chances against.
After review by the video official, there's no infraction on the play. 2nd down.
And that one comes from above.
I'm not exactly sure what the original call was, but Rose looking to make a pile, basically.
So no penalty, no call. That means zeros on the board after 3. Exciting one here tonight. 3-point ball game. Anybody's ball game as we head to the 4th quarter at TD Place Stadium tonight on Friday Night Football on TSN. This has been an interesting one here tonight. Red Blacks early momentum seized, taken away by the BC Lions, who still have the lead after 3 quarters, but you get a sense the Ottawa Red Blacks are coming and cupping, and the BC Lions got Sinopoli'd in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, Brad Sinopoli, who's been a monster at times for Ottawa this season, and most recently in that 3rd quarter, dominating that one drive, nearly 70 yards, 5 catches, including a touchdown for him. His consistency is one thing, obviously, that the Ottawa Red Blacks count on.
And for the BC Lions, there might have been some concern tonight with no Jeremiah Johnson in the lineup. No concern right now. Brandon Rutley has done the job and will figure prominently likely here in this 4th quarter. We begin it. The Lions scrimmaging from the 40-yard line, 1st and 10. There's Rutley again out of the backfield. Rutley, a couple of enormous cuts. Penalty flag down.
Yes, the Ottawa faithful would not be bothered if they were to call a hold against BC here. They were yelling for one right at the point of attack.
Name we
Holding.
have not mentioned much
BC,
tonight is
number
Kai
52.
Hebert.
10-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Also on that play, Travis Lulay was pancaked as he got rid of that ball.
Keep an eye. After Rutley catches this, I'm not sure whether it was the guard or the center, Cody Husband, as Travis Lulay takes a big hit.
2nd and 17, push back to the Ottawa 50. Red Blacks show 3 to rush. Looks like they'll rush 4. Deep drop for Lulay, and he gets hit again. Oh, what a catch over the top, and it's fumbled. It's Ottawa football. Brian Burnham went up, made the catch, dropped the ball, and our first turnover tonight goes the Red Blacks' way.
Avery Ellis put the heat. He's coming from the bottom of your screen. He's the guy who puts the heat on Travis Lulay here. First time really we've seen David Neville have some trouble at that right tackle spot. You see Burnham go up in the middle of the field, brings it down. But before he has a chance to tuck it, Antoine Pruneau bringing the arms through to wrap on the tackle, punches that ball out to create the turnover.
Burnham making a great grab, but all for naught. Red Blacks take over. First turnover of the ball game. Momentum turns again. Harris, dangerous toss to the far side for Ellingson. The duck at the last minute. Avoid that shot, the incoming missile, Otha Foster.
Big strip there by Pruneau. I think anyone will play Brian Burnham if he starts peeking over his shoulder every time he goes up to catch a ball. Can't remember the end of the first half last week.
2nd and 5. Looking back for it and unable to hang on. Once again is Deontay Spencer. So Red Blacks 2 and out after the turnover. We'll give it back.
They look to get Deontay Spencer isolated this time. Into the boundary. Once again.
AJAO. Again with Chris Rainey sideline. Leone. Back to Collins. Grabbed him by that towel and brought him down, finishing him off. We're in for a finish here tonight, it looks like. 3-point ball game. The nation's capital.
All day, they can keep.
Well, on to moving day tomorrow at the Open Championship at Carnoustie. 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific time on CTV, TSN, TSN4, NCTV. Zach Johnson, the leader. Logjam leaderboard. Rory McIlroy's a pair back. Defending champion Jordan Spieth 3 back. Tiger Woods still really in it, 6 behind. He makes a move tomorrow, but Carnoustie is going to toughen up for the weekend. Overseas. Rutley again. Just been hammering that front line and getting some good push from that O-line that's been battered tonight by injury.
Taking a little bit of pressure as well off their quarterback. We've mentioned it before, Travis Lulay coming off knee surgery, maybe not quite at his usual level of mobility, so you want to find ways to manage the pressure. Using the run game very effectively to do that thus far.
Lions have not given up a sack. Now going near sideline and nearly making the grab is Shaq Johnson. Blanketed in the corner. Jonathan Rose.
Rose in coverage. Jonathan Rose, the birthday boy yesterday. We saw him get doused with the ice water at the end of practice by his teammates.
Full of players. Oh, there's a fake here. I don't know if it was intended, but Ty Long is smothered, and the Ottawa Redblacks will get the ball back. Been a nightmare for Ty Long here tonight. Ottawa gets the ball in perfect position. It's been a long night for Ty Long, leading punter in the Canadian Football League. And earlier a little embellishment, and then this time he just plain out dropped it.
Yep. Yeah, the snap from Mike Benson was on the money. Not sure if Long is maybe seeing ghosts after having some Red Blacks jerseys flashing pretty close to him on a couple of previous months.
Second turnover, now back to William Powell, who's really been underutilized, particularly in the second half. It's become a game of 2-and-outs almost. Instant field position for Ottawa.
Yeah, massive opportunity for Ottawa given the short field here, and down by just 3 points in this ballgame.
Surprised they didn't go for the jugular right away. Sometimes after a turnover, see what they do here. Second and 8. 29. Lule goes through his reads, and that is close to being picked off. It's the kind of game has been here tonight. One team takes one step, and the other team takes it back. Now, Lewis Ward comes out to tie this ball game.
Yeah, Trevor Harris leads Sinopoli by a little too much. Anthony Thompson, third-year safety out of Southern Illinois, nearly had the pick.
Red Blacks very lucky that wasn't picked. Now trying to tie the game because of that turnover, and a perfect night for Lewis Ward. 5 for 5. We are all square. Might come down to one of these kickers tonight.
What a great find Lewis Ward has been.
There's a late flag on the field now as the teams retreated to the sidelines. Something said untoward after that.
Objectional conduct, Ottawa, number 63. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down, BC.
A little bit of that tonight. That has to frustrate Rick Campbell. So the starting point now is the 45-yard line for BC.
Well, knowing what a game of field position it is, you don't want to give up any gifts like that in terms of yardage.
Looking much better this week. Travis Lule trying to continue the momentum from last. Throwing down again, coming up for Lule. Gap stopper. Kevin Brown limits the gain to a yard.
One of the rare times, it seems, in this second half that Ottawa's really been able to hold Brandon Rutley in check on first down.
Who will Travis Lule go to? Red Blacks have not sacked Lule. There's been pressure. Collins has been his go-to. There is Collins. Goes down to the 51-yard line. First down into Ottawa territory.
Well, they went quads to the field, and the two-man combination into the boundary becomes Collins with the running back. Rutley, he runs that smash route, selling inside and then bouncing back to the outside, which has been cleared out by Rutley taking the corner deep.
First and 10, Travis Lule. Second start of the season, trying to make it 2 wins in a row. Oh, Brandon Rutley.
Spun right into a big hit that time.
Need some help getting up here.
I think he might need a lot of help getting up, and you got to remember, the guy who'd usually come in to fill at running back.
Ran right into that hit.
Yeah, normally it would be Chris Rainey coming in to fill in at running back. Rainey is already down.
We've got some fullbacks we could utilize. It does look good right now for Rutley, who's wicked on those jump cuts. As he's getting attended to, we'll step aside with 9:09 to go in a tie ball game, 22-22 in Ottawa. So with Brandon Rutley on the trainer's table, looking like he's ready to come back, Rolly Lumbala will be inserted into the backfield. The veteran fullback, a different look, certainly.
Rolly's going to be asked to flash back to his freshman year at Idaho, because about the last time he was a feature back.
They stay in for some blocking help as well as the Red Blacks rush 4. Ball out of the backfield. Lule was going for him, and it was swatted down by the former Lion, A.C. Leonard. Who, by the way, was a receiver at one time when he broke into the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, A.C. Leonard, the man who delivered the big hit on Brandon Rutley, gets a big paw on that Travis Lule attempt to snuff out the Lions' drive.
Lions will not attempt a field goal here. We'll hunt for field position. See how Ty Long handles this. Looks like a good kick to the corner. Oh, a really good kick by Ty Long. That's his first inside the 10-yard line this season, and they mark it off. Long field for Ottawa. Let's go down to the sideline. Once again, here's Matthew Shinetti.
Rod, so much of this sport is about coaching trees and connections. Well, there's also the family connection. Jordan Herdman, we know his father, James Reed, played for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Ottawa.
Justin Herdman obviously plays for the Argos, and they have a huge connection. They both went to SFU, where they were under the tutelage of Solomon Elimimian's brother, who was the defensive coordinator. So many connections. But underneath all that is not only a passion for football, but for their studies. This is a NCAA school, so they have a very high GPA, about a 3.9 GPA, both Justin and Jordan. And they eventually, after football, want to get into medical school. Guys?
Yeah, want to become radiologists. The Herdman brothers. We'll see Justin tomorrow, the Toronto Argo. By the way, both of them are going to celebrate their birthdays tomorrow, so happy birthday to the twins. Jordan will like to get a win here tonight. Longer field. William Powell and Jordan Herdman tonight. Debuting at middle linebacker with Solly out. How have you graded him out so far?
Done a pretty good job, in on 9 tackles here tonight. Sounds like he's putting up the same kind of production he had at Simon Fraser. Great time visiting with Jordan yesterday. Terrific young man. Very hard worker. Great instincts for the game.
Knocked away. Good defensive play by Otha Foster. So another 2 and out. This game has really dissolved into a litany of 2 and outs in this second half, particularly for the Red Blacks. They've been able to tie it up, but it's another 2 and out and a very costly one. Look at where the field has shifted. Leone's in his end zone.
Just the value of a Ty Long as a punter. What he did field position-wise here to hit Ottawa deep.
And what Leone can do. Collins tripped up.
Rod, you talked about it off the top. These 2 big-legged punters. Ty Long pins Ottawa deep. Richie Leone kicks his team out of trouble.
This was a monstrous shot by Leone, the former Lion. Could not have come at a better time. A lot of other punters or kickers in a game in that situation, maybe not at 22-22. You might be taking 2 at that point.
Yeah, because you're afraid of what you're going to give up or what you're going to hand to the other team in terms of field position. Richard Leone.
Chris Rainey is back from the sideline. And gets a touch here.
Noticeably limping.
So, banged up Lion team. Just everybody nicked up tonight. Rainey has to come in for Rutley. Rainey was hurt earlier, unable to return tonight, the second half.
Rainey's going to try to gut it out so that the Lions don't become too limited in terms of what they can do offensively here.
2nd and 7. 6.5 to play in the 4th quarter. Lule with time. Over the top, knocked away. Antoine Pruneau. Shutdown time. Erases that.
We'll see the route across the middle. Pruneau gets a nice break as he's moving back towards the ball faster than Arsenault can come back to it to try and shield him off.
So the showdown between the kickers, the punters, Leone and Long. Long angling it. This is not his best effort. Bounces. No yards call. Add 5 to that for Spencer. Better field position for Trevor Harris.
We gotta win this game.
The defenders
Do what it takes.
coming up large here in the second half. Suddenly got a playoff feel, doesn't it, this game? 2 2-2s early in the season. One trying to bounce back from a humbling loss last week. One trying to keep the vibe going after a come from behind win. Quads to the right, 4 receivers. They throw it out of the backfield for Powell. Makes 1 miss and is able to pick up 3 yards or so, and for a moment like he might have been stopped for a loss.
Well, Powell did well to make the first guys miss. As Odell Willis certainly had that one sniffed out, as did Davon Coleman. They started their rush upfield and immediately, I think before they even made contact with the O-line, both kind of redirected to their left, recognizing where the ball was going.
Harris goes through his reads and then drops it off to Powell. And he gets the first down. Scrapping and scraping. Nobody was home for Trevor Harris. 1, 2, and then the release valve. First and 10. Slant pattern to Sinopoli. That now ties him for his career receptions in a game. That's 11 in one game that he accomplished earlier this year. Already have career yardage in a game. He might get up near 200 tonight.
A big night for the Peterborough, Ontario native.
Harris goes to the sideline, short yardage, so Dominic Davis comes in. Davis finished up last week. Ineffective Harris in their offense. Not sure they're going to move the sticks here. Up to see what the spot is. Had to get to the 50.5. And they do. First down. Very restless crowd in the first half. Coming to life in the second. Getting close to the 3-minute warning. There's a dangerous pass. That could have gone the other way for 6. Winston Rose.
And this just serves as a reminder of just how wide, you see Winston Rose, the wide side corner, reminder of just how wide the Canadian field is. 65 yards. When you're throwing from the hash all the way out to the wide side of the field, you're talking about a 41-yard throw, which is plenty of time for the DB to react.
That could have been a major turning point. Winston Rose, who knows this city well, knows this team well, was a member of the Red Blacks last year for 4 games.
Rose comes into this one already with 2 interceptions for the BC Lions. You see the amount of time the ball spends in the air and how much ground Rose is able to cover after the ball is thrown. Can give that receiver a big cushion out on the wide side for exactly that reason.
Here comes a critical play. What does Jamie Elizondo have in mind? What does Mark Washington have in mind on 2nd down? 5 receivers out. Again, Harris has to dance, and he throws it out, flipping it out. It's a frisbee. Trevor Harris tried to dish it off, and the Boo Birds come out. And so too does Richie Leone. They'll punt it away again before the warning.
And I think Harris's frustration here comes from the fact that he knows he could have been a little more deliberate in terms of where he was going, as this flip kind of lands halfway in between 2 receivers.
Fling does not work. Leone looking for the coffin corner. It's off the side of his foot, but it's going to bounce down. A one hopper to Collins, who will be stonewalled right there. 3-minute warning. Anybody's ball game. Disappointment for Harris. Keep that drive alive. The 83rd running of the Prince of Wales Stakes comes your way Tuesday. Action at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN. Canadian Triple Crown broadcast brought to you by OLG. I've got nothing for that.
That's Snow White.
That's the princess of Wales.
You just didn't recognize her without the 7 dwarfs.
My oh my. Fill in your own adjective. Under 3 to play. Travis Lulay, 4th quarter comeback last week. He's in a tie right now. Big win for the Lions. Trying to make it 2 in a row here. Going deep. Has his man, Manny Arsenault, in stride, down to the 20-yard line. And Arsenault, the silencer here in Ottawa.
And Henry Burris is in the studio right now saying chalk one up for the veteran quarterback making a play at crunch time. Manny Arsenault, the number 2 receiver, he's going to come from depth using that waggle to hit it with speed. Cross things up, he becomes number 1. But hitting it with that waggle on the corner, who was kind of stationary, Purifoy preparing to cover the other receiver. He gets a step on him right off the line. And Travis Lulay, remember I talked off the top about how Lulay last week was off the mark on the deep balls. He was only 2 of 10 on his pass attempts of over 20 yards. He has been money tonight.
Much sharper. Manny Arsenault, who I'm sure in practice went one-on-one with Uchez Purifoy a little bit last couple of seasons, victimizes the former Lion here. 78-yard strike. Bomb and run by the Lions. Now could smell blood inside that 20-yard line. That's how the game started here tonight. Big Manny Arsenault shot. Likely come back to Trevor Harris again to hold serve.
With Purifoy down, by the way, a little shuffle in the secondary. Sherrod Baltimore, second-year man, will come on to play that corner spot.
Purifoy down near the 15-yard line where they're working on him. Likely a delay here as they wait for him to get out of the area. Dangerous where he was. He is standing, and he is now going back to the bench. So they'll whistle this in. The master, Travis Lulay. Just completed his longest pass since 2013. It off to Rainey. And again, another critical second down play coming. Kai Hebert stops the gap, brings Rainey down. Collins comes in.
Yeah, second and long. The big bodies go out as they were in double tight with the fullbacks. Limbala and Mackey in the game. Jack Johnson, Ricky Collins come back in as they go back to a 5-receiver set.
Now who will it be? Gone to Collins. They've gone to Arsenal here tonight. And whistle. Look like the receiver's offside by a
time count violation. BC, number 14.
Couple of yards, and
the
it was a
penalty is lost
count.
of down. It'll be third down.
So a loss of down. That's
a big one.
A huge one. Very costly. And Wally Buono is going to bring out the kick team here for the lead. And so the Red Blacks with a serious bend but are not broken as far as a touchdown is concerned. Ty Long 0 for 1 tonight, missed from the 41, but considerably closer here. Long hoping that this, if he makes it, can stand up in what has been a bit of a absurd night for him. 19-yarder for the lead, and hooks it through. The BC Lions lead 25-22. Now it's Trevor Harris's time for the 2-minute offense. 2 minutes to take it to the house and win this game or get it in field goal position to tie.
A big test for Trevor Harris. He looks to get his Red Blacks back above 500.
Not near Ricky Ray or Mike Riley or Travis Lulay territory, but 11 game-winning drives.
Yeah, these are not uncharted waters for Trevor Harris. And you know he's got the big play guys around him to help him move this ball down the field.
To Lions D now, and again, a couple of those new guys. Herdman in the middle. All Lulay can do is watch. Be dependent on this return as well.
I would anticipate at some point on this drive we'll hear from that guy, number 82, Greg Ellingson. His partner in crime, Brad Sinopoli, has had a big night. Ellingson has been suspiciously quiet. We've kind of got the feeling that that won't last for the rest of the game.
The guy in the studio knows what that guy can do in the final couple of minutes. R.J. Harris, Deontay Spencer stand beside each other. Now we'll split near the 5-yard line.
Yeah, they're going to read the approach of the kicker. Presumably trying to get Spencer lined up on the side he's going to kick to.
Time on, big foot. Angles this. It's Spencer. And up near the 31-yard line. So Trevor Harris, it's your turn. It's hampered him. Number of 2-and-outs. That last drive as well, they still are able to set up a field goal. And he erased last week's embarrassment against Calgary. Four-man rush. Quick slant to R.J. Harris. First down. Harris to Harris connection up near the 45, and it's...
Well, that'll put Trevor Harris over 300 yards for the game, and you see amongst quarterbacks in the Canadian Football League, the highest percentage of career starts in which they have gone over 300 yards. Some pretty good company there. Sanders between Flutie and Calvillo.
They'll change it up, give it to Powell. A little more than half the first down yardage. 300 won't mean a thing to Trevor Harris, though, if they can't get this into scoring position.
Yeah, this is what it's all about. It's getting the wins.
2nd and 2, they give him 8. Lots of time, that'll reset the sticks. 94 seconds, an eternity in the Canadian Football League. Elizondo trying to craft something. 5 receivers out. Harris again with the slant to Harris. RJ makes a nice move. Another 15-yarder. To the 40 and now in field goal position.
Yeah, how about Trevor Harris answering the bell at crunch time, making some key throws, moving the football to put his team in scoring position.
Their kicker is 5 for 5 tonight. Ideally for Harris and the Red Blacks, they want to get it to him. Powell. Oh, it's a throwing down. Another huge one coming. It's like 2nd and 8. Well, is this Ellingson time like you called? Do they go back to Sinopoli? R.J. Harris goes to the top of your screen.
Excuse me.
Harris going over the top, and it's caught by Ellingson. Oh, what a catch at the right time. Captain Clutch. Clutches that.
Yeah, this one came out a little late. Trevor Harris is progressing through his reads. You're going to see him looking left first, and then he comes back to the crosser Ellingson, and the throw is behind him. But 82, great body control, reaches back with the stab to pick up another Ottawa first down.
Again, the Red Blacks can wind this right down, not give the Lions any chances. They use the clock wisely. Powell down the sideline, out of bounds inside the 5, down near the 2-yard line, and William Powell with his biggest play offensively tonight at the perfect time. May have gone out of bounds near the 10-yard line.
Well, we'll see if the replay official makes sure they get the right spot here.
No, he's good there. Stays in. He's good there. So it will be down near the 2 with 49 to go. Harris in the gun. William Powell right behind him. Ellingson, Sinopoli in motion. Powell the give. Powell the touchdown. The Red Blacks with the lead.
And a masterful drive executed by Trevor Harris to put the Red Blacks on top.
There is a flag in the end zone.
And Deontay Spencer looks like he's pleading with the official.
And objectionable conduct might be the celebration afterwards. Let's take a look. Deontay Spencer, vehement, right up in the official. Not sure what happened here. Definitely a touchdown, we know that. Flag came out afterwards in the celebration.
Well, a time count violation and loss of down looming large for the BC Lions right now.
Time count violation forced them to
After the
take
play,
the field goal.
objectional conduct, Ottawa, number 29. 10-yard penalty be applied on the kickoff.
So on the kickoff. So this is a critical point after for Lewis Ward.
And again, you hear the penalty being applied on the kickoff that's going to shorten the field slightly. Be a bonus for the BC Lions.
For a 4-point lead, meaning the Lions have to score a touchdown. Huge point after. But we're not done yet. Travis Lulay still may have some magic left.
Fourth quarter comeback last week. Can he do it 2 weeks in a row in his return to the starting lineup? But meanwhile, how about the job done by Trevor Harris and the Ottawa Red Blacks offense marching down the field? That phenomenal twisting stab by Greg Ellingson. The elusive run down the sideline by William Powell. Number 29 punches it in. Trevor Harris, 4 for 4 for 65 yards on that drive. Another 300-yard game for the Red Blacks QB.
Cool of Travis Lulay, though. You saw what he did last time he got the football to Arsenal. And remember, Chris Rainey is back. Ricky Collins, he's back. Leone's going to try to proof this one a long way. And it's Rainey. Again, he's injured. But Chris Rainey goes out of bounds near the 40. Pretty good starting point. But again, the Lions, who played comeback to perfection a week ago. Do they have another one with 40 seconds to go?
Yeah, the stakes get upped a little bit here. Not a lot left on the clock for Travis Lulay, and needing a touchdown.
Well, he's been on target on deep balls tonight. To Manning, to Collins. 40 to go. The time over the top and almost lights out. Just threw that one up. It was in the vicinity of Burnham.
Yeah, this one's going to come up short as Lulay had pressure closing on him. He couldn't step into the throw. This throw was all arm from Travis Lulay.
Crowd on its feet here. Full throat in Ottawa.
And needing, or at least looking for a deep around that offensive line has got to get it done against what will probably be a 4-man rush.
5 receivers. Lulay going for the first down. Collins can't hang on. It will come down to 3rd down with 30 to go. Last gasp for the Lions. Have to get to their 50-yard line or it's over. What has been a tug of war here tonight. Third down, ball game on the line for the Lions. Lulay over the top, it is not caught. That's it. No flags. 25 left, and the Ottawa Red Blacks stage a second half, 4th quarter comeback. The 2-minute drive by Trevor Harris. That may have been the spark they needed. That was in the midst for a second of Corey Watson. Great defensive play.
Good effort from Corey Tyndall. I know Corey Watson was looking for a call on head contact, but I mean, Tyndall came through, his shoulder pad happened to clip the side of Watson's face mask, but it was as he was sliding down. I don't think the target was high. It wasn't head-to-head contact.
This one
had big defensive play.
This one, Dwayne, had so many changes of momentum. Ebb and flow. Played out like a playoff game, and now some tempers too. And it will also come down to that time count violation where the Lions.
Oh, that's huge.
Finishing.
That is where the BC Lions left the door open. And the crack was all Trevor Harris needed. He made the most of it, marching his team down the field to put up the winning points.
And to put it on his defense, they had a 3-point lead, the Lions. Trevor Harris engineered one of his best drives to date. And a week after he has one of his worst outings as a pro, he has one of his best here tonight in the final 2 minutes. Trevor Harris and the Ottawa Redblacks come back in the final 2. William Powell punches it in. The Redblacks take over first place in the CFL East as they move to 3-2. The Lions fall to 2-3. Time now for our Nissan Titan Player of the Game, brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
Career high 11 catches 2 weeks ago. He equals it tonight and ups the stakes with a career high 171 yards. Added a touchdown along the way and putting 56 of those yards on one drive. Brad Sinopoli with 36 catches on the season, on pace for a remarkable 130. Brad Sinopoli is tonight's Nissan Titan Player of the Game.
It was Sinopoli early and a little Sinopoli late, but Trevor Harris as well, engineering that great drive. Manny Arsenal, big game. Tomorrow it's a doubleheader, of course. We have the Blue Bombers and the Argonauts at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 Pacific time. Tonight, Trevor Harris and the Ottawa Redblacks in a dogfight with the BC Lions. East meets West. The Redblacks prevail 29-25. Needed some help down the stretch. Beautiful night in the nation's capital. CFL football at its very best tonight, folks. Comes down to the wire. It's the way we love it. SportsCenter's coming your way right now.